Jay is back, and we are live at the DJ Summit with Orlando DJ. Go ahead. He's not Orlando DJ, first
I'm not
of
a
all.
DJ, but I've represented many DJs.
You represent the culture, period.
Yes,
and you just
do.
won an award. Where's your award?
I just put it in the car.
Why? You gotta show that baby.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just so happy to get it. I just wanted to put it away so I don't lose it or it don't get stolen.
But it is. So I've never met you. I've been in the room with you a million times. But tell everybody who you are.
Well, basically, I'm a hip hop pioneer. I come from the beginning of hip hop. When I was like 9-10 years old, I remember hearing some kind of music playing coming from the schoolyard, and I just followed the sound. And once I got to the schoolyard, it was PS 62 in the South Bronx.
That's crazy.
And
everybody's from South Bronx.
Yeah.
My family's from
go
there.
Bronx.
Yes.
And
too.
I saw a bunch of the older kids, the teenagers from the neighborhood, out playing music, and I just kind of like was a fan like immediately. I think the first song I heard was like "To Be Real" or Apache. And just to watch the DJ going back and forth, stretching the music out, long enough so that people could get on the mic and rhyme, because the word rap wasn't even invented yet.
It wasn't even a word.
Yeah. And neither was the word hip hop. So basically, we used to say, "Oh, we're going to the jam, the street jam."
When people said that's my jam, that whole thing, it's from that generation.
Yes, it is.
Era. Yeah.
So that was my introduction to hip hop music before it was even coined hip hop. I started like my career basically as a graffiti writer when I was like 9 or 10 years old, and after picking up the marker and doing graffiti and meeting a lot of the older famous graffiti writers, I was introduced to hip hop, and then from there I was kind of like a b-boy. I would come to all the parties and just either do the electric boogie dance or carry the cardboard so my friends could break dance, or I was in charge of holding the radio and make sure we're playing the same song over and over and over, so they could dance for it. And there was even a time where I walked around with a little hat and made sure that we were getting getting money, getting tips for the dances. It was a beautiful thing. It was beautiful then. It's even more beautiful now. 52 years since the beginning of hip hop.
The golden era of hip hop. All of that was.
Yeah.
It holds a close, and I'm not from that era. I come a little after, but at the same time, that's my favorite time frame.
Yeah.
When hip hop was a conception and it wasn't even a reality.
Yeah. When everybody did it, people were doing hip hop for the love. It wasn't never about the money.
And that's why I like it too, because now, even though I still love hip hop, we've come away a little bit from the love, and it is monetary,
right?
Like what's in it for me type of thing. But that's why I love that generation, and I pay homage to it all the time, because it was about passion and it was about coming together. It was a community thing. It was bringing people together.
I was just sharing a story the other day.
Share it.
I'm always talking to the younger generation. They're very curious to know about the beginning of hip hop. And I love to be the one to share it with them, because I rather teach the younger generation about the older days of hip hop, the creation of hip hop before hip hop was even coined hip hop. I love to share that info, because a lot of people are still learning and getting their facts and getting their information from the internet, or they used to get it from encyclopedias.
It's not facts.
It's not.
Right?
It's not the same.
Exactly.
You're not hearing it from somebody that was actually there in person. There's a lot of people that sometimes they don't know who I am. They may question to say, why do you call yourself a hip hop pioneer? And I say, you know what? First of all, I didn't call myself that. I didn't name myself that. I didn't choose that title. That was given to me by my younger peers, by people who were amazed and astonished.
To respect them.
Yes, by listening to the stories that I would share about running around as a little kid. I just saw Charlie Chase in the building from the Cold Crush Brothers. I was his biggest fan as a little kid. I went every single place the Cold Crush Brothers were playing at. I was there, whether it was a school night, whether I had to walk through a storm, whether I had to walk through dope fiends and dope dealers. Little kid, 10 years old. you know,
And that was
outside
what
on
the
a school
culture
night.
was.
You know,
Yes.
just because I wanted to be there and see the Cold Crush brothers, because they had the only Latino at that time that was really putting in the dues.
And that's why I do know who they are, and I respect them, because it made me realize that there was people out there that were of other colors.
Yeah, just
that
like
were
us.
of
They
other-
look
yeah,
like us, and they sound like us.
This
Yeah.
is my person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know, hip hop, the culture itself is predominantly black,
Yes.
and you know, not to take away from my black brothers, because I grew up with them. I thought I was black for a long time. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't even realize the difference until I got older, to be honest with
Yeah.
you, because I grew up.
Me neither. Not till
these
I got to
people,
high school.
yeah.
But before high school, you know, all my best friends were black. You know what I mean? I picked up how to dress, how to talk. Everything I was doing, I was picking that up by hanging out at the PAL, which was located on 156th Street in the Bronx. And it was the home base for a group called the Fascinating Force. And they were the first, like, real hip-hop group that was in my neighborhood. And that's where Mr. Wiggles come from. You know, one of the
Okay,
best
I do.
worldwide dancers
Yes.
in the world. 60 years old, still touring and dancing.
Listen.
And that was my childhood friend. You know what I mean? And you know, if it wasn't for hip hop, he wouldn't have a career. If it wasn't for hip hop, I would have not had a career. You know what I mean?
It's the full experience of hip hop. Why you have a career? Because I think people forget all the elements of hip hop too. It's
Right.
not just the actual
No, of course
artist.
not.
It's
You
so
know,
much more.
there's
that
a
goes
lot.
into it.
I was just talking, Charlie. I wish he could come
talked
over here.
about you. Come on.
Come over here for a minute, Charlie.
Say
I was
hi.
just talking about this man. I was his biggest fan. Let's get him in the picture, please.
Yes, listen.
This is the legendary DJ Charlie Chase, the first Latino DJ in hip hop, or one of them, because I
Yes.
know we had Disco Wiz was out in the beginning, but he's definitely the first Puerto Rican DJ. I can
Shout out
vouch
to all
for
the
that.
Puerto Ricans,
Yeah.
because you know that, yes.
And I'm so proud that
I'll
he's
talk to
here.
him in a minute.
It really made my day. I was just talking about him before I received an award, and then
Talk
for
about
him
the
to walk in.
award.
Yeah,
Talk
well, you know,
about
I just received an award for my impact, that my community work that I have done here in the city
You've
of
done
Orlando.
great things for the community. Yeah.
I've been running a little league for 20 years, a very old and poor little league in a very poor neighborhood. I have a lot of underprivileged kids that play there. A lot of kids coming from single parents or being raised by their grandmothers or grandparents. And sometimes some of these kids, their family struggles to pay the registration for these kids to play baseball. Some of them show up to tryouts. They have no equipment whatsoever. So me, in the beginning, what I did was I started using all my connections that I had in the industry, all the clients that I used to have, people like The Clips, people like Ron Artest before he became Meta World Peace. And I would reach out to these people, Pitbull also, and they would plug me in with their managers. And because we were a non-for-profit, we were able to get, you know, money from them. They would give us large donations, and we would take the donations and buy brand new equipment for the kids, make the field look better. And since then,
I love that.
I haven't left. I've been there since, you know.
We'll talk.
But you know, hopefully Charlie's going to do an interview and shock the world. I love you, Charlie. Thank you for everything
He's a
you've
man
done.
of few words.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it chokes me up because
Love that.
I was his fan as a little kid.
It's a passion thing.
And it's crazy when I finally got to meet him. Crazy story how I met him, but I showed up to a party. It was one of the rappers, or I should say MCs from
right? Back then.
from the Cold Crush Brothers by the name of Easy A.D. They were celebrating his birthday party at South Bronx High School. I believe it was 1980.
I wasn't even born. But listen.
I think I was about 11 or 12 maybe at that time, maybe even younger. Maybe I got the actual year wrong. But I went to this party. They wouldn't let me in because I was a little kid. And, you know, I was sitting on a car outside, angry, and a guy by the name of Joe Conzo walks outside. If you're not familiar with Joe Conzo,
And I'm not.
Joe Conzo is credited as the man who captured hip-hop's baby
I
pictures.
do know that.
Okay?
I do know that now.
He walked around with a camera.
Yes.
He took pictures of everything that was going on in the South Bronx at that time. He was the official photographer for the Cold Crush Brothers, who DJ Charlie Chase was one of the two DJs in that group.
Okay.
So as a
Teaching
fan,
me right now. You're
I
teaching me.
I would go everywhere. I see my man Showbiz in the building too. Showbiz.
One thing
Showbiz AG.
I want to say, because of this type of event, and shout out to Junebug, because I'll shout him out all day. You're in the room with legends and people that would never be in the room together
Yeah.
if it wasn't for this type of event.
Yeah.
I've been in rooms with you and never got the opportunity to speak to you, and I've always just been like, because you're not only a pioneer of hip hop, but you give back to the culture. And
All the
I'm
time.
one of those people. I have a nonprofit myself. I'm one of those people that is just like, if you're not giving back, and if you're not looking back at the younger crowd and bringing them into the culture, then the culture would die, because we're not feeding the younger generation.
Right.
So in this room, there's people that have been there from the beginning, and there's a 10-year-old DJ that is starting out, and everybody's mixing and mingling, and everybody's getting to learn from each other. And that's what I love about hip hop, and even DJing in its culture, for whatever it is, that we get to pass down from generation to generation. And that's what you're good at, is that telling these stories and keeping this information alive. You got the key.
Yeah.
So if you're not sharing it,
Yeah, I've been very fortunate.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people in this room right now that could actually say that they've actually witnessed all four generations of the hip hop, right? Because you had the 70s, which I was there in the late 70s. You had the 80s, the 90s, and 2000s, right? So I've seen what was probably the first MC, like Grandmaster Caz or Melly Mel or Busy B. Those were kind of the first MCs to ever pick up a mic before hip hop was hip hop, you know, when it was all just street jams and it was all done for the love, right? I remember seeing gangbangers when they used to wear the cutoff jean jackets with the name of the gang in the back.
So
and they
that's
used
what I grew up with.
Yeah, they used to rumble. Like they would rumble right in front of my building. I would watch the fight from my fire escape window. There was no guns involved. You know, there was a bunch of fist fighting.
People fought.
People hit each other with sticks or whatever, and then it was over. But once I started seeing what was becoming the hip hop culture, I started seeing people kind of getting rid of the jackets, and now I started seeing the sweatshirts coming out with the crew name, right? Everybody had a crew.
And you was in a crew.
I was in 1,000 crews, you know. I was in graffiti crews. I was in breakdancing crews, you know. But that's what I saw, and I saw that the music would bring peace, right? Like there was never beef. It was like people from all neighborhoods could come to one set, right? And everybody just was high-fiving each other. If there were any kind of disagreements, you know, amongst these artists, they would battle. That's how you settled your beef. You would battle.
And I wish the world would do it that way, because it was a way of, then you earn the respect.
Yes.
And now for me, I wish that that's the only difference. Hip hop got away from us when the violence became more important than the actual culture.
Right.
What do you wish that people did now that you witnessed being done back then, that you wish would be brought back?
I wish people wouldn't be so envious of each other. I wish that everybody would support one another.
Yes.
Here in Florida, I've seen since I've got here, and I can't even say that it looks like it's changed a lot. It might have changed a little bit, but I never seen someone actually push somebody else to get to the top with the hopes that once that person hits the goal where he needs to be, that he would come back and bring the other person up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because yes, I agree with you. I wish that the world in this culture, yes, we're in a room and everybody's getting along and everything, but when it really comes down to supporting one another and like, yo, your win is our win, I feel like that's where egos come into place.
Right.
And if that wasn't a thing, we would all be winning, because at the end of the day, one person brings another person up, and we're all winning. And I do feel like, especially in hip hop here, that could be worked on, because we need a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
I grew up I'm from Brooklyn, but my family on my dad's side is all from South Bronx. I grew up where like, yo, you got, I got. It was always that.
Yeah,
in the music world. And
you shine, I shine, right?
Exactly.
That was the song.
Or like,
you shine, I shine. You know, I wish that was really the truth. You know, because you know, from experience, I've always been that person that once I get on, I want to put everybody on. And most of the time, people would say, "Why do you do that?" My own kids, I remember I used to do marketing for a lot of clothing companies, so I would get boxes, and I mean boxes of clothes for every season, right? You had spring, summer, fall, winter. I never had to go to the store. I didn't know what the mall looked like. I never been shopping. I just used to pop tags, brand new clothes every single day. But every time I got a brand new box of clothes, I would start dividing outfits and say, this fits this guy, this fits that guy, this fits this guy, right? Because I would want to give clothes to every single person that somehow played a role helping me get where I was at and helping me stay where I was at.
Listen, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Exactly.
I will forever be that person. If someone's on my show here, whatever I can do to help promote, and you're fantastic. Like, I'm terrible at even selling myself, but I'm so good at this is your product. I'll sell it for you. I got you.
Right.
But that's one thing I do admire about you is that you don't preach it, you do it. Like,
Yes.
you really do.
Well,
it.
you
I
know,
watch that.
before I could even promote a project, I had to believe in it. I had to convince myself that this is marketable, that this is going to make a difference in someone's life.
I don't have people on my show normally that I don't have a respect for and a belief in because, and you know, sometimes it came away from me a little bit, but I truly handpick people because it's, do I respect this person enough
Right.
to back them up long term?
Right.
And it's not just about what's gonna sell. It's never been about that for me.
Right.
But I respect you for that because that is what we're missing in this culture right now. I don't see it. It's rare. And it's usually from people that are older. The younger generation, they don't know how to be. Listen, we can be doing the same thing and both of us win and both of
Right.
us keep continuing to grow.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut this off, but just because we got a time crunch.
I
but
know.
listen.
It was first of all, it was an honor.
Listen, it's an honor to
doing
have
this
you
interview
on,
here.
for sure.
First of all, I didn't come here expecting to get recognized or to win an award or just to be praised. I came here as a favor to DJ Junebug. Real good friend of mine, and again, wherever I get a chance to speak about, hip hop from the beginning, the things I saw, the things I did, the things that I continue to do, I love to take those opportunities to speak. I always pray that someone's listening and that I'm going to help change somebody's life or give somebody the perspective or the energy or the motivation to go do something that they probably been thinking about doing and they just haven't done it. One of the things I learned a very long time ago was 99% of the time when you don't get what you want done in life is because you yourself counted yourself out.
Yes. I agree
You
with
gave
that.
up
Yes,
before anybody could do anything about it. You gave up. So you got to be that person that leaves your house and says, if I got to go knock on 20 doors to get one person to open the door, then that's what I'm going to do.
So in doing this show, and people don't believe me, but I don't care if 2 or 3 people are watching or 200 because I'm going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
Right? So hey, great.
It's
join me,
what you
great.
love. It's your passion.
It's a passion.
Yeah.
And to integrate the arts because I'm not just speaking hip hop. All of it for me is love and it feeds my soul. So why, if that one person watching was like, wow, and sparked something in them, then that's all that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That one person.
It's always about
it's a
joining
domino
forces.
effect,
Before I was even a part of the Lolife community and a part of the Lolife culture, which I'm
love
actually,
my Lolife people.
I'm the president right now of
Okay.
Lolife Orlando. So
Okay.
I run this chapter. I've been running it since 2019. I was always familiar with Lolife. My childhood friend is Thurston Howell III, and he's one of the founders.
I had him on when I
Yes, I remember he did an interview with you.
Yes.
That's my childhood friend. We're still friends to today. I love him. You know, he gives me a lot of energy, a lot of motivation. He's actually probably the only real artist that I do continue to work with today, because right now I'm more involved with the community. I've been representing the kids on Cimarron, where I'm from.
I don't live too far from there,
yeah.
so yes, I know.
I just made 20 years there a couple of months ago. Straight up community service, straight up volunteer. I don't get paid for my time or for my commitments, but how I get paid by being acknowledged by my peers and by important people who are doing the same thing I'm doing, or something even bigger or better.
I love that.
And they see what I'm doing, and they bring me in, and they say, hey, let's work together.
To get paid for something that you would do anyway is the best feeling in the world.
I love it. I go to sleep feeling good at night.
Yeah.
And, you know, here and there I get recognized. You know, I've received many awards. I've got proclamations from the city of Orlando. I got proclamations from Orange County. They celebrate May 6th every year here. They call it Big Earl Day. And I was honored to get that. You know, I was just a kid from the Bronx, like we were talking about, just going to the schoolyard parties. I had no clue that what I was witnessing at that time was going to come back full circle and help me feed my family as well as feed others. You know what I'm saying? And if not for hip hop, I wouldn't have had a voice or knew all the important players that do help me with the community service, right? Because this is some of the people I reach out to is platinum selling artists, people from record labels, producers that you know that they've made money off of this culture thing, and they love to give back. So they know what I'm about. They know I earned it. I'm not just some person that just came out of nowhere claiming to be somebody, just giving myself a title.
No.
And you know, I'm very humble. I don't brag about nothing. And I know that if I did brag about something and promoted myself,
it'd be the truth.
I'd probably be rich. But it's all good. I'm rich in my heart.
Yeah.
And I've always been rich in my heart. Even as a little kid, you know, when we used to play in abandoned buildings and we didn't have nothing, we had each other.
I love it.
You know, so.
Earl, tell them where they can follow you, what your socials are.
I'm on Instagram, Big Earl Promo. I'm also on Facebook, Earl Lugo, a.k.a. Big Earl Promo. And, you know, you could Google me and find out 1,000 things and see photos. I've got photos of me as a little kid standing in a B-boy stand with a hat to the side, 10, 11 years old, 1978, 1979, whatever. They got my photo in the Cornell's hip-hop museum. The University of Cornell has a picture of me at like 10 years old on the wall. And somebody saw it and took a picture and shared it with me. It was crazy. Now,
that's funny that you didn't even know that.
I didn't know. Now the picture is in a book called Fox Street, My Life, Fox Street, something like that. It's out there. So
I appreciate you for coming
oh,
on.
thank you for
the
giving me a
legendary
platform.
Big Earl.
I appreciate
truly,
it.
And we'll talk.
Thank you
we'll keep you
thank you so
posted.
much. Thank you.
Guys, I'll be back. Bye.
Real talk, real people, real conversation. Week to week, this the place to get your inspiration. Go and sit back and unwind, sipping on your coldest glass of wine. This the home of girl bosses and the warriors. Went from tragedy to triumph and it's glorious. Ain't no question if they ask, they got that fire. This the podcast that came to Aspire. Welcome to Aspire Podcast, home of the real talk, real people, real stories. Give it up one time for y'all hosts, Sujay. Real talk, real people, real conversation. Week to week, this the place to get your inspiration. Go and sit back and unwind, sipping on your coldest glass of wine. This the home of girl bosses and the warriors. Went from tragedy to triumph and it's glorious. Ain't no question if they ask, they got that fire. This the podcast that came to Aspire. Welcome to Aspire Podcast, home of the real talk, real people, real stories. Give it up one time for y'all hosts, Sujay. talk, real people, real conversation. Week to week, this the place to get your inspiration. Go and sit back and unwind, sipping on your coldest glass of wine. This the home of girl bosses and the warriors. Went from tragedy to triumph and it's glorious. Ain't no question if they ask, they got that fire. This the podcast that came to Aspire. Welcome to Aspire Podcast, home of the real. Real talk, real people, real stories. Give it up one time for y'all hosts, Sujay. Real talk, real people, real conversation. Week to week, this the place to get your inspiration. Go and sit back and unwind, sipping on your coldest glass of wine. This the home of girl bosses and the warriors. Went from tragedy to triumph and it's glorious. Ain't no question if they ask, they got that fire.